Disclaimer, this video may contain errors in the information that it presents, and the facts may not be 100% accurate. However, if I made a mistake, please post a comment in the comment section below or send me a private message. Without further ado,
it's a Doda Weekly Show!
Yay!
Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Doda Weekly Show, your source of news, tips, and whatever else that interests me. I am Luminous, your host for the DWS, and without further ado, let's get on with the news. Let's start out like how we started out last couple weeks, which is the international news, as we have EHome being the 7th team invited to the TI2, which is not surprising considering that they took number 2 in the first year. And they had like a controversy thing going on for the last couple of weeks, but they have solved that, and they've been playing very, very well, and they've been invited. So, congratulations to EHome. And if you guys are wondering, like, do they deserve the invite? Are they actually good? Are they going to be competitive? I could tell you that if they play in the international like they're playing this week, they will be very competitive, because this week they are on fire. They're beating absolutely everybody. They beat Absolute Legend, they beat DK, they beat IG in scrims official matches. So, I mean, in terms of the eastern side of the Dota world, that's the best that's got to offer, and they beat all of them. So, yeah, they're very, very competitive. I know they're very serious about practicing and whatnot. My unofficial contact with EHome, he told me that there was an official last Sunday or something, and they were playing against their opponent. Before the match, they're like, okay, if we don't win their match, we're not gonna go eat today. And then they won their match, so they got to eat. So that's some serious like motivation / dedication or something. I think like a couple of days back where they were playing another official match and they lost their match, right? So what do you do when you lose your match? Well, you know, QQ, you cry, and you do all that stuff. But no, EHome, when they lost their match, all 5 of them gathered to a computer and they watched their own replay of why they lost and try to figure out what they could have done better. That's real dedication. So, congratulations again to EHome for getting the invite, and they're practicing very, very hard. And as a Chinese Dota fanboy, hey, I could be only happy that they're training really hard, and hopefully they are going to be very competitive in this August / September in Seattle, Washington. Alright, the other international news, which is actually very, very big, is if you look at the bottom right portion of the international invite card list, whatever that's called, you're going to see 2 wildcard slots. And one of them is for East, one of them is for West. I can only imagine the East slot is for like Southern East Asian Dota / Chinese Dota, or both. And then the West slot is for European / North American. I guess Valve cannot decide which team they want to invite, and thus they're going to put 2 slots here and have teams to fight over those 2 slots. I'll talk about why I think Valve cannot decide who to invite in just a moment. But yeah, the 2 wildcard slots is actually very, very exciting, and well, more on that later. Now let's move on to European Dota real fast, and there's a lot of sponsorship changing, there's a lot of player changing, as you would imagine, because every week we have something like that in European Dota. Copenhagen Wolves, am I even pronouncing that? Copenhagen Wolf. It probably is like German or something? Copenhagen Wolf. Yeah, sorry if I anyway, I cannot pronounce. Yeah, the Wolves have picked up Migo, Angel, Rise, Mania, and Playmate. You know that team that's been changing sponsor for a while? Well, they finally got picked up, and hopefully they will stay on that squad for a long time and play good Dota. They're struggling a little bit, but they're trying to figure it out, and hopefully they can earn an invite very, very soon. Root Gaming has picked up Blitz Korea, DDX, JAH, and yeah, Fram. Hopefully I'm pronouncing all those names correctly as well. And normally that's kind of like a small scale team, but a couple of things about this. Root Gaming is a very, very big organization in StarCraft 2, so more organization from other games coming into Dota 2, so we could only be happy about that. And secondly, I'm actually very glad they picked up these guys. I don't know all the players, but I know Blitz and DDX, or I know of them. They're kind of like cool community figure people. Blitz do a lot of streaming, DDX makes Invoker videos, and I'm glad that their skills are recognized and they're forming a professional team, and hopefully they can perform with the big boys. Now obviously most likely they won't be invited to international too, but hopefully next year, and they can stay competitive and win some tournaments. Cool. Alright, here comes the musical chair of European Dota. DTS and Dare, they are changing the roster, they're merging together to be specifically. So now the new Dare roster is gonna be Artstyle, G, Goblin, Mag, and Funnick, and the last 3 players are from DTS. The original 3 players, or 4 players, which are Come With Me, Mitch, Freezer, and Lacoste, they have scattered and went to different ways. So yeah, more musical chair. Like the last couple of weeks in European Dota, it's giving a new perspective and a new meaning to every day we be shuffling, because exactly that's how it's happening. Mouz for more shuffling, they have removed Fire, who just joined the roster for like 2-3 weeks, and Fire's been really playing very well for them, but apparently I don't know what's clashing there, but something clashed. So Fire's leaving, and they're getting 1437, which is a Canadian player that it's playing on its Gosu, or was playing on its Gosu, now playing on Mouzsport. 1437 is a really good support player, so, and if Fire feels like that's what they need, well, that's what they got. The motto for Valve, or at least what we heard from them, was we want to invite stable teams, and there's no stable teams at the moment. More on that later. And yes, the biggest controversy perhaps for this week is Loda is leaving CLG to join Zenith. Yes, Zenith is not a European team, if you guys imagine. Zenith is a Singaporean team. So you might be saying, like, why is Loda leaving CLG, who is possibly ranked number 3 in the European scene, to join Zenith, like halfway across the globe? Well, CLG Loda was, or is, in a relationship with Kelly Milkies. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Kelly. Yeah, Loda's in a relationship with Kelly, so I think he wanted to move to Singapore anyways, so he, time zone issue, perhaps cannot practice with his team, and decided to leave his team. Perhaps Zenith contacted Loda and be like, yo, well, we need a 5th. So that's kind of how I think the situation went together. But yes, that's another instance of a girl coming into Dota and, in my opinion, messing things up. Because again, CLG was very competitive in the pro scene, but it wasn't too surprising because Loda wasn't actually practicing or playing in official matches for CLG for the last couple of weeks. He was being replaced by Misery in those matches, and he's officially being replaced by Misery, who was literally like the most unofficial stand-in for every team out there. But he's now playing officially for CLG Misery, and Smuggling is also being replaced by Lacoste, who played with their just like 1 week ago. So again, a lot of switches, and now, yeah, Loda's on Zenith, Misery and Lacoste is on CLG. Hopefully these two teams are gonna get invite. But again, let's go back to the Valve statement. We want to invite stable teams. Let me ask you, who is actually stable right now? Well, there's MTW. And yeah, so they don't have no one to invite, and that's why I'm sure 2 of those slots are like, okay, well, we don't know who to invite. Hopefully they can figure out themselves with skills alone. But I mean, okay, so we got 7 slots, you've got the 2 invite slots, so that's 9 out of 16. So we still have 7 more invites that's going out somewhere, unless Valve's gonna do more wildcard slots. So everyone is switching up their roster. It's gonna be rough, and we don't know in 3 months which of these swapped up rosters is actually going to be good. You gotta keep in mind that Virtus Pro was swapping up roster, M5, Moscow 5 was swapping, yeah, a whole bunch of teams are doing roster changes. So, musical chair shuffling, whatever you call it, it's not too good for the competitive Dota in my opinion, because if you look into some of these Southern East Asian teams that have been stuck together for a long time, Absolute Legend, Orange, the invitee teams like IG, LG, like, well, yeah, LG's not invited just yet, but any case, these teams have been stuck around for a long time, and they have time to figure stuff out. And right now, as we're closer and closer to the international team, a lot of teams want the best team they have, and to compete international, that makes sense, but also means that they have a slight lower chance of being invited, which is a conundrum. But hopefully they will figure out, and good luck to all the teams that are still looking to invite. We will see, and of course, I'll be continuing to update you guys in the Dota Weekly Show. And that will do it for this week's news, so let's move on to the tips. Now, some of these tips are very basic. I'm sure if you guys play more than a year of Dota, you could kind of see them coming. And this is going to be about Illusion. And the reason I decided I wanted to do Illusion tips is because, well, Phantom Lancer just came out 2 weeks ago, and there's a whole bunch of Illusions out there, right? So, yeah, Phantom Lancer and Illusions in general. One of the biggest trick with Illusions is you could use it to take down Roshan. Now, obviously, if you use your Illusions to attack Roshan, Roshan has this like anti-illusion aura or something, and it instantly kills all the illusions. But you could use the illusions to tank for you. What you want to do is box track all your illusions, and instead of right-clicking on the Roshan, you use your move command, which is default M on your keyboard, and you click on Rosh. So instead of attacking the Roshan, your illusions just move up to Rosh and basically hug him, and then Rosh is gonna bash on them, and then effectively your illusions are tanking for you. So that's one of the best use of illusion runes when you're doing Roshan in the late stages of the game. Or you can use illusions or scout, which is the other stuff. Another thing about illusions is that there's many spells that could instantly kill illusions. Hexes, Mana Drain, Life Drain, Diffusal Blade Purge charges. Glimpse, which is not in Dota 2, will be in Dota 2 eventually from the hero Thrall in Dota 1, does insta-kill illusions as well. So there's a lot of ways to insta-kill illusions. So don't forget, like for example, if you're playing Line against a Morphling, hey, just skill one level Mana Drain, even though you normally would not skill it. It's not bad. To insta-kill Replicate, hey, that's pretty good. And of course, there's some other tricks out there, like the Obsidian Destroyer doing extra damage to illusion. There's a lot of illusion tricks out there, but here's a couple. So, and that is going to be the tips for this week. Alright, let's move on to the interesting section of the week. I feel like this week's Dota Weekly show, there's a lot of stuff, but there's no content. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a plane going by. This is really good, by the way. And the reason I choked last time was not because it's expired, because like it just went down wrong. Sometimes you drink water and just... Anyways. Oh man. Maybe I just shouldn't drink stuff on camera because it never goes that well. Any case, yeah, I feel like this stuff DWS is like more of a laundry list because it's like, oh, player A is changing team to player. Any case. Alright, so a couple of things that was interesting that might be interesting to you guys for this week is that I recently got interviewed by Diamond, which was a former staff member on DotaCommentaries.com. If you're interested to check out that interview, I would put a YouTube annotation somewhere, and then you could view it. And the interview, I might say, is fairly interesting. I definitely had a lengthy discussion about tentacle hentai, and how that came about. So if you guys don't know the backstory, definitely is worth checking out. Of course, if you like what she does, she interviews a whole bunch of community members of the Dota scene and whatnot. And yeah, if you like her stuff, definitely help her and subscribe her and check her out. Okay, so that's our interview. The second thing I want to talk about is I'm requesting an artist that could draw in a comic/manga style. If you have a lot of time and if you feel confident about your drawing, please shoot me a PM because there's a project I want to talk about. I'm trying to keep things under wrap, but yes, again, if you are comfortable drawing with the manga/comic style and if you have a lot of time on your hand, please shoot me a PM on YouTube. That would be very, very helpful. And I have a lot of people shooting me PMs about beta keys, and the answer is yes, I have beta keys, but no, I will not be giving to you just because you're PMing me. I'm not trying to sound like a really bad person. It's just that I have a lot of people shooting me these PMs, and obviously I don't have an unlimited amount of beta keys. My beta keys are going to the people that my random generator select and choose, and yeah, every week in the Dota Weekly show I give away 5, so there's no reason to PM me. I would just ignore and delete the messages. So anyways, the last point, this is all done with the Dota Weekly show, so if you want more Dota stuff, there's no more. Bye, thanks for watching, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But if you're interested in anime recommendation for this week is called Baccano. Baccano is a very interesting anime in the way that it tells this story in a very distinct time frame style, if you will. It's told in 1929, 1930, and 1931, so kind of a before, during, after of an event. And the event is of this train, a cross-continental train from New York to like LA or something. And along this train, like a whole bunch of people die, and they need to figure out like why these people are dying. And I kid you not, the train's name is called Flying Pussyfoot, and that should be like reason enough for you to watch it. But it's a very like intense action kind of flick, but also it's very comedic in a sense. The presentation of the anime is just so cool. I think it's worth watching. It's only like 15 episodes, fairly short. Baccano is the anime, and you should definitely check it out. And that's gonna do it for this week's Dota Weekly show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below regarding Baccano and regarding the tips section, regarding the international invitees and whatnot. And yes, again, if you guys notice there's any mistakes or if you guys need to talk to me about anything, shoot me a private message. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Until next time, this is Luminous signing out to you guys.